Playing as the home team today, their team, Tegan Lee Gaber in goal, Natalie Garcia Sofrantes 2, 3 Cassidy Pettijohn, 5 Tori Brewster, 7 is Gracie Mann, 14 Samantha Slade, 16 Ava Lee Gaber, Madison Shepard is 18. As we are underway here, Madison Shepard 18, 44 Audrey Abel, 56 Camille Clark, and 10 Brooklyn Van. The Jamaica team playing in the green, predominantly green outfits. They normally wear the yellow shirts, but as they have been designated as the away team today, playing in their away strips. As for Jamaica under 20, they have London Phoenix in goal. That's number 13. 2, Kayla Ann Raghunandanan. 4, Shania Ashley. 5, Jalea Cox McPherson. 6, Andreen Smith. 7, Alyssa Stevenson. 8, Maya Raghunandanan gets the start today. Destiny Powell is number 10. 12 is A.V. Johnson. 14 is Sierra Mitchell. 16 is Malaya Mighty Johnson. She gets the start today. Jamaica on the attack here in the first couple of minutes, trying to prize open and opening. There's McPherson, captain, who's directing traffic in the middle of the park. That was slightly overhit, looking for the run of Stevenson. Stevenson is a very quick and sharp forward, can cross the ball well, as you can see there. No one able to get in on the end of it. Trying to turn with it is Samantha Slade. Slade has come in to play late here in this particular match, and that's because the captain of the team, Cadence Conrad, has developed an illness and is out of today's game. She should be better for the next game in the competition, but just a slight bug. She did play in California in a tournament recently, and as a result may have picked something up there. Jamaica on the defensive at the moment. Andreen Smith out on the left-hand side. And there is Kayla Ann Raghunandanan, and her sister is on the right-hand side, showing her speed and pace once again. That's a good, intelligent ball. And Johnson was there, but she was leaning backwards and unable to keep it in play. Jamaica on the 20s, coached by Lee Crawford Letman, man from St. James in Jamaica. Previously with the likes of Falkland, and before that, Montego Bay United. His team is on the attack here. 2 waiting inside of the box. Comes straight back to the player. That was touchy for offside. That was very, very close, and the assistant, Laniel Winchester, had a good look at it, the young lady out of Tobago. But it stayed. Yeah, she was, you can see, her eyes were peeled and looking closely at that, but there was a defender just in front of the goalkeeper that would have played the Jamaican player onside. Mitchell trying to find her way through the defense, and that is a Brewer to get it clear. This will certainly decide which team will win the group. These are the 2 toughest teams in this under-20 competition, which is made up of 4 teams. And Jamaica started very well. They pounded the not the SSFL, but the All-Star team of the TNT Wolf League, pounded them 6-0 in the last game. And in the Premier, they defeated the Trinidad and Tobago on the 20s 2-0 in a match that may have just flattered the visitors a bit. Raghunandanan just took a little bit too much time. She was trying to play in Sierra Mitchell, who was running along on the outside. So this will decide the winners of this group, and the winner of this match will go through to the final. In case of a draw, both of these teams will now go to 4 points and will put themselves high and above the other 2 teams, which is TNT under 20 and the TNT Wolf League. Now, you would expect that the under 20 team will win the game later on today. Not to suggest that the Wolf team will will lie down. They will certainly battle for it because many of them do have the opportunity to force their way into the under-20 team if they put in good performances. That's a lovely ball. Just could not find Johnson with it. Intricate play by Jamaica in the middle of the park, and they win the first corner of the match. So we have seen the Premier team, Indy Premier, perform very well in the competition. In fact, collectively, their two teams have scored 14 goals without conceding. So if they are to concede the first goal here, it'll be interesting to see how their psychology changes. Points table so far, Jamaica on the 20s ahead with a +6 goal difference. Indy Premier +2. So there's a substantial gap to make up. Here's the corner swung in towards the penalty area. That just bounces unkindly over the head of one of the Jamaican players. Back in and again over the head of the same player. And that was Avery Johnson who was there. They will get another corner though. Early pressure here from the Jamaica under 20s, who really would have started as favorites to win this game as the national team. It will be a real feather in the cap of the Indy Premier team if they are to beat the Jamaica team today, because they are an elite club team, but still this is the Jamaica national team and it's one of the top teams in CONCACAF. Here's Powell, MVP in the tournament last year. Destiny Powell. Oh, that's a lovely little ball. That's now they find Stevenson. Gets it onto her right foot. She's enviably left-footed. Gets the shot off with the left. But Tegan Lieberger had that well covered on the left-hand side of her on the near post. Well, the Premier player was fouled there. Referee Cecile Hines is right on target and there to watch. Indy Premier is coached by the Trinidad-born Kenrick Ramirez, a former QRC player, won the Intercol title with QRC back in the 1990s and has moved up steadily through the Indy Premier. Now the big man in the business. Indy Premier based in northeast of Indianapolis, one of the great cities when it comes to amateur sport in the USA. More in the area, if you're familiar with that area, in the Fishers and Nobleville area, made up of an amalgam of different teams that would have created this particular outfit. They would campaign in the Washington Business Park facility, Trinity Sports Park, Cumberland Park, and McCordsville Sports Park. Some of the venues that you would see them train and work. For the moment, after 8 minutes, it is Jamaica that have the ball. It's 0-0 here at the wonderful Hazley Crawford Stadium, premier football venue in Trinidad and Tobago. Raghunandanan hoping to unleash her speed down the right-hand side. We haven't seen much of Indy Premier as an attacking force. That's well overhit and easy for London Phoenix to deal with. Like so many of these modern keepers, very good with her feet and not afraid to get out of her area and get the ball downfield. She controlled that beautifully. Cox McPherson scored in the last game, as well as Andreen Smith. Alyssa Stevenson also got a goal. Oh, what happened there? That one ran out of play. A double from Maya Raghunandanan and Ciara Mitchell also getting one. Well, the call has gone against Jamaica here. I think the defender thought the last touch was by the Indy Premier player. I just allowed it to run over the line, but the call will go for the visitors. Corner about to be taken here. Swung in towards the far post. And just unable to get rise high enough to get the header off. Samantha Slade, I believe it was, the defender. Correction, that was Van, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was in fact Van, Zoe Brooklyn Van, correction. It will be another corner here for the Indy Premier team. First sign of them showing their prowess from the set pieces. As we move into the 11th minute, it will be taken again by Audrey Abel. Swings it out towards the middle. And oh, that is coming off the foot of the defender. And Indy Premier still have control of it. And that's knocked downfield. Oh, look at Stevenson go. Maybe a better touch there, and she would have been off to the races and in on the centre back. Cassidy Pettyjohn was there, went to knock that one out of play. Stevenson in full flow is a sight to behold. Yeah, that's one of the features of the Jamaica under-20 game under their coach, Letman. Explosive wing play and high-pressure defense, playing in that 4-3-3 formation. They rely a lot on that individual skill alongside solid structure, and use what we politely call Jamaican speed, which means blistering space. Nice interception by Johnson, but it goes back towards the Premier team. Now they try to get it forward towards Garcia Sofont. And what's the call here? It's gone against the Indy Premier player. Looks a little bit aggrieved by the decision. We talked a little bit about the Jamaica style, but the Indy Premier team, they rely a lot on that, their very vertical game, getting the ball forward as quickly as they can. Structure and discipline very much built into their play. Maybe not quite as many flair players that you'll see in the Caribbean, but they are very solid and technical players. And thanks so much for joining us here on SportsStream TT as we approach the 13th minute. This broadcast sponsored by Blue Waters. Here's Powell getting that one nicely through the gap, but too far ahead of the run of her teammate Ciara Mitchell. And that's cleared into touch on the near side. This Jamaica under-20 team enjoying a period of high momentum following regional success. They won this tournament last year. And a reorganization of their technical leadership, and they're reaping the benefits. The Jamaica women's program had actually collapsed at one point, but it was been rebuilt. And like the name of the Jamaica under-20 goalkeeper, like the Phoenix, it has risen from the ashes, and it has risen much stronger. 2 World Cup appearances and a lot of trophies to go with that. Knocked in towards the penalty area. That could come to Powell. Well, their clutch of blue shirts there. Powell trying to unlock the defense with her skill, but it's taken away. And now Indy Premier will try to build out of the back. Stevenson just stops it, and the defender has the chance to move forward. Garcia Safront, she goes to ground, and oh, that shoulder. She takes a heavy blow on her shoulder. Referee Hines just having a look. She says she's okay to continue. And on a quick apology from Powell, this tournament has been played in very, very good spirit. So Brooklyn Van's going to take the free kick. Now that's overhit. She was aiming for Tori Brewer. Brewer, who did score the opening goal for Indy Premier in their last game. That was their win over Trinidad and Tobago in the 20s. Cadence Conrad also got the second goal. Well, she got the second goal out through illness today. Fairly even start to the game. If anything, Jamaica have had the better of the exchanges. Mitchell has a pocket pick by fellow number 14, Samantha Slade. Here's Mitchell again. Trying to tread it through for the run of Johnson, but it's cleared into touch. Yeah, more pace with this Jamaica attack, as you would expect. Jamaica known for their sprint prowess. Yes, it's almost become stereotypical now. You expect the Jamaicans to be very fast, given their success in sprinting in the last more than 20 years. Since 1948, Jamaica have been winning gold medals in sprinting. The likes of Arthur Wint and the teams of that time. Mitchell will take the corner for Jamaica under 20s, the Reggae Girls, looking for the opening goal here. That's played short. Here's McPherson. Plays it with the left foot, driven into the box. It's headed away. Johnson gets it forward. Here's Stevenson. And taken away. That's a good bit of defensive work. Now looking for the run here of Brewer. But that's too far ahead of Brewer again. Shania Ashley will pick this one up at the back for Jamaica. And the sting has gone out of the attack there. Caribbean pride at stake in this one. Jamaica, the defending champions, up against the Indy Premier team. The first US team that has been invited to this tournament. They will be looking to prove that they can compete with the senior national youth teams of the Caribbean. Well, they certainly showed that in the first game. As Brewer tries to get in on the end of it, she does. And she does have Ashley for company. Can they get the cross in here? All of the blue shirts were patrolling on the far side of the field, and the cross was not long enough to do so, to get them. Well, it hasn't been the easiest start for Natalia Garcia-Sofront. Yeah, that one skirting under her feet and out for a throw-in. She also had that heavy fall earlier. Turns into trouble. And give it up here to the Indy Premier team. And Abel is looking for Garcia-Sofront. Comes off her touch and out. So we're still even at 0-0 after 19 minutes of the game. And the small crowd enjoying the match. The Jamaica under 17 team is here looking on, as well as the Trinidad and Tobago under 20 and the TNT under 17 team looking on. Play breaks down. Here's Van with the left foot this time, putting it on into touch. Jamaica coach Letman on the bench at the inside of the technical area and shouting out the instructions. That's Tamara Ann Williams, assistant coach. Possible chance here for Raghunandanan to shoot. Charged down and cleared only as far as Stevenson. That's a good solid tackle to take it away from Stevenson. And they try to mount a counter-attack here through Brewer. Phoenix does well. She's very much right-footed. And that one went towards her left side, so she did well to get the right foot across to make the stop. That would have been an unnecessary concession of a corner. What a lovely evening it is here in Port of Spain, Trinidad. And the skies overhead are blue and mixed with white. Type of view that you'd see on perhaps a French Impressionist painting. Still a fair amount of sunshine around. Ooh, that could have been tricky there. Johnson got in for the tackle. A no-nonsense type player, Johnson. Looking for the overlapping run is Eva Lieberger, but they can't find her. Now she has to hustle back because Stevenson is the player looking behind her. And now Stevenson's looking to exploit that pace if they can get the ball to her. Here's Smith. And that's just banged across the field. Mitchell will track it down here for Jamaica. Here's Johnson. Back to Mitchell. Looks for the pass inside to Stevenson. And she was going on a diagonal run, but the ball was played slightly behind her. And I think maybe looking directly into the sun. Just couldn't pick up the line of the ball well. Smith back to Stevenson. Smith again. Smith controlling, and the ball runs out of play. Still not a huge amount of goal-mouth action. Jamaica causing a few worries for the Indy Premier team early in this game, but nothing much for London Phoenix in goal for Jamaica under 20 to take care of so far. Raghunandanan playing more centrally right now. Powell takes back control. Such a calm assurance when she's on the ball, even under pressure. She appears to be so nonchalant. Stevenson allows that one to run. She has some support here from Smith. Well, that was touched out by Lee Gaber. Thank you so much for joining us for the action here on SportsStream TT. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. You can watch the entire tournament here. 3 more days to go after this one. Powell has to track back. This broadcast brought to you by Blue Waters, and it's the team in blue that have stolen a march here. Here's Brewer looking to get the cross in. Cuts inside the defender, gets the cross. There's a player loose in the area, but it's not hit well. Best chance of the match for Indy Premier, and Samantha Slade got the opportunity to put them ahead, but unable to wrap her foot around that one and direct it towards the corner. Solid clearance by Fan, only as far as Ashley. Here's Smith. Cox McPherson in the center for Jamaica. Powell. Powell had actually dropped all the way back. She was almost looking as though she was a center back for a moment. So it hasn't been as high intensity as we've seen from these two teams in the previous games. It's a bit more cagey in terms of the start. Both teams showing each other a lot of respect here. But it has been gripping so far. So this is the second day of action in the women's under-20 competition. Final day of action in the women's under-20 will take place in a couple of days' time. And that will certainly decide, which teams will go into the final. Now the winner today, if there is a winner, will go straight into the final. If there's a draw, well, that will do these two teams no harm at all. Nice bit of play here by Indy Premier. Abel driving out the defense. That's a good run. That's a very good tackle there by Smith. That's a heavy challenge. Lee Gaber coming through. She's quite a sturdy young lady. And Smith may be a little bit slighter in terms of her build. She certainly did feel the hurt in that. She's still trying to flex out the pain out of her left foot. Indy Premier team is from the great state of Indiana, from the city of Indianapolis, as I've mentioned, but from the state of Indiana. So they are the Hoosiers, a term that describes a native or inhabitant of the state of Indiana. A word that has a lot of history to it, originates in England. It's from an Anglo-Saxon word for who. Those of you who watch a lot of sports films would remember that 1986 classic starring Gene Hackman by the same name, The Hoosiers, where he played the coach Martin Dale. A lot of great quotes from that film. Not too many I can share, though, on the air. Stevenson, though, trying to write the highlight reel of her own here on the left-hand side. Has to go all the way back to Smith. And that's one thing they've done. They've made a little bit of a change here in the Premier. As soon as it goes anywhere close to Stevenson, they put Lee Gaber across. And she's a much better physical match than perhaps Sofran Garcia, who's a little bit more lightweight. The player goes down here. And there was a challenge. I think Powell was involved in the challenge. Yeah, the player goes down clutching her knee. Well, she's looking like she is in some pain here. Meantime, the teams will take some water. Just enough time to remind you that you're looking at Jewels of the Caribbean, match day 4. Indy Premier 0, Jamaica on the 20s 0. And we are at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. Winner of this game goes into the finals. And a draw will certainly put these two teams ahead of the other two. That's TNT on the 20s and the TNT Wolf United team.
And now here's a starting lineup for Jamaica under 20. In goal, we have number 1, London Phoenix, and number 5, Julia Cox Person, number 2, Kayla Amra, Honolulu, number 4, Shane Ashley, number 6, Ashra Smith.
So Indy Premier will be forced to make a substitution here. They have several players warming up at the moment. Right now they're playing with 9 players. The player down, by the way, is Cassidy Pettijohn, who has shown that she's a very sturdy and very intelligent defender. And she's still on the ground, actually, so I don't think she's going to be coming back. She is getting treatment from the physio. Medical staff swinging into action very well. They were up in Sangre Grande yesterday also. And they have been an ever-present part, as you would expect, for this competition. Smith to Powell, and finds Stevenson. And here's Smith again. Just couldn't carry it with her. Lee Gaber goes to ground, but the combination of Lee Gaber and her teammate were able to get that ball away. Slade was in there to make the stop. They realized that Stevenson is a very difficult player to mark, so they do have a couple of players coming across. And that's the kind of situation that Jamaica will profit from if Stevenson is able to get the ball into one of the runners from midfield. Use that space wisely. The thing is that Stevenson can cross the ball well. She can take on defenders. She's good in one-on-one situations. And here's the defensive side to play. Also very useful when it comes to the high press. Really does put in a lot of effort, doesn't she? Turning off the defender is Brewer. But back in time to make the play is Smith. Cox McPherson. That's a giveaway. Brewer and Slade. That one just will not sit properly there for the play on the far side for the Indy Premier team. Slade eventually tackles for it and it runs out of play. Keela and Raghunandanan came on in the second half of the game and played quite well. And is rewarded with a play starting spot. Actually, she's the only change for the Jamaica under 20 team coming into this game. Ariel Lindo was a player who was dropped to the bench. Here's Brewer again. Does she have the measure of the attackers? There are two of them there. Smith is one of those, just leaning on her back just to make her, put her off balance. Lee Gaber tries to get it in towards the middle. That could have been interesting if it had gotten to a teammate. Now here's Brewer again. Gets the shot off. Good bit of work by Brewer. Credit also to the defender, Ashley, who stood her ground and just forced Brewer to take the pot shot. But too high in the end. Just forced her into taking the shot a bit earlier than she may have wanted. So it does not appear that Pettijohn will be returning. She's limping away to the bench, and another player has been called up. So Indy Premier were playing with 10 players for quite a few minutes there, and they've worked on her and tried to see if Pettijohn can continue, but I think she's given up the ghost now. So they decided to make a change, and Indy Premier will make the first substitution. In the meantime, Jamaica have not been able to profit from their opponents at 10. It looks like the captain, Cadence Conrad, who did not start due to an illness, she looks like the one who's going to come on here. So I guess she has recovered sufficiently. Bit of a stomach bug, in what I was told. So it's knocked in towards the area over the head of Stevenson. And she and Lee Gaber will chase this one down. Stevenson with the back heel, but no one is following up, allowing Lee Gaber to bring it out without challenge. Man's clearance is charged down. Jamaica have not been able to harness the speed of their wingers. And that's what Indy Premier have done very well. They've cut all those channels. And the likes of Stevenson and Raghunandanan have not been able to find that joy they got in the last game down the flanks. Just over 10 minutes to go in the first half. And here's the change coming. Pettijohn has been substituted. And in is, as I mentioned, the captain, Cadence Conrad. Conrad looks to have slotted in to an attacking position. There was an attempt to play that down the line for the defender, who was Keelan Raghunandanan. Couldn't find her. Actually, that was, we were looking for the run there of the player on the far side. That's, I believe that is Johnson, A.P. Johnson. Well, that's flicked on nicely. And here is a chance here for Brewer. She has support in the middle of the park. Brewer gets it back and gets the shot off, and it's into the net. Brewer scores, 37 minutes, and Indy Premier have gone ahead. Well, it was created by Brewer, it was scored by Brewer, and the Indy Premier team run towards the bench, and another one of their trademark celebrations. They have a lot of them, and this is a new one we're seeing. Not sure, it looks something like a mix of a 70s dance and an 80s breakdance move. We'll have to decode that at some point in this tournament for you. So Jamaica go behind here. That is the 15th goal unanswered by the Indy Premier teams in this competition. And Brewer again sets them on their way. And if Jamaica needed a bit of spark of inspiration, that certainly was it. Here's Stevenson with the ball across field. Raghunandanan. Garcia Sofrans all the way back to Lee Gaber. There's under pressure here from Stevenson. That was nicely sorted out by Mann. Here's Conrad. Well, that's a great ball. Just maybe not enough on it. Curve on it. That would have taken it into the pathway of her teammate, Slade, who was coming in on the far side. So that goal coming in the 37th minute from Brewer, and it was a well-placed shot. Two defenders had the opportunity to get a foot in. The second clearance didn't quite work, and Brewer had enough time to compose herself and put it to the right of Phoenix, who had very little chance of getting to that. Brewer, a very good goal poacher, and showing her quality again. She had a much easier chance in the game against Trinidad and Tobago on the 20s. It was a mix-up between defender and keeper, and Brewer just had to slot it basically into an empty net. What can the Indy Premier team do from here? Well, she was looking for Brewer again, but there was just too much mustard on that one from Gracie Mann. Raghunandanan is playing in a more central position today. Last game she played out on the wing, and she really was able to carve open the TNT Wolf United team down that right-hand side. Might be a tactical switch that the coaches might consider, unless she's carrying a little bit of a niggle and doesn't have that explosiveness that she would normally have at her disposal. Stevenson always has explosive speed. Smith trying to get the cross in towards the far side and almost turned into the net. Turned out to be a good defensive clearance. Moment of alarm there for Indy Premier. And the clearance by Madison Shepherd just got it away in time. Jamaica have not had a corner since the early part of this game. They do have one now. Can they profit from this dead ball situation? Destiny Powell is hoping to do exactly that. Two players inside the box, for the 6-yard box for Jamaica, and two more inside the 18-yard. This one's curled in towards the penalty area again. Cox McPherson. There's Conrad trying to lead her team out of danger here. Mitchell is doing a wonderful job in preventing her from turning. That's good from Mitchell. So this game has come to life here with a goal by Brewer. And really for Indy Premier, this is a great position to be in here. This is one of the top teams in CONCACAF at under 20 level. They are the pride of the Caribbean, and they lead 1-0. Certainly will be a great feather in their cap, as I mentioned earlier, if they are to get the win here today. But if you know anything about Jamaica and their level of competitiveness in sport, they are not going to give up at all. Certainly is emphasized in that great phrase that I've heard. We might be small, but we talawa. Kilayan Raghunandanan turning here. What can Jamaica do in the last 4 minutes of normal time here in first half action? The lights now starting to take effect at the Hasely Crawford Stadium. Johnson all the way across to Smith. Powell. McPherson. Here's Stevenson now. More methodical here from the Jamaicans. Stevenson adds that injection of pace. Can she get the shot off? She does! And it's in! Jamaica equalized! 42nd minute! And Stevenson from almost nothing carves through the Indy Premier defensive scores. So Stevenson has been the danger all the way through this game, and just proving her ability. She can take it down the line and get the crosses in. That's the first time she's attempted to get in there. Got past a couple of defenders, and as soon as she found the space, unleashed a solid right-footed drive off the bar, or the post correction, and into the net. That's a wonderful individual goal there from Stevenson, and that has brought us to parity. And the lead lasts only 5 minutes. It would never sit comfortably with Jamaica. Now they could be in further trouble here. Stevenson is through again. And Van did just enough to get that clear. Well, that's a clearance that wouldn't qualify as a back pass, in case you're wondering. It was an attempted clearance that screwed away off the foot of the defender. And Indy Premier, who are usually rock solid in their play, just looking a little bit flustered at the moment. The clearance and then the pass down the line. And they will have to regain composure here. Now they know they are in for a fight against the Caribbean champions. Good work in the middle of the park. Slade goes to ground. So just over a minute to go in the first half, and it's been very good action here. Brewer scoring in the 37th minute. Stevenson with that wonderful individual effort in the 42nd. One of the goals of the tournament so far. She also scored in the last game. So 2 goals for her in the tournament. Here comes Smith. A lot of real estate for Smith to run into. In the Premier, very, very narrow in defense, as you would expect. Well, there was some contact there, but no call from the official. Brewer is after this one. Phoenix should get there first, and does. Good clearance. And just about 30 seconds to go of normal time in the first half. And the 4th official today is Danica Harewood. Took charge of the Trinidad and Tobago Jamaica game yesterday in Sangre Grande. Jamaica on the 17th beating TNT 2-1 in a very closely contested game. Had everything. There was a light outage too in the halfway through the second half. Of course, they were able to come back and continue. No further goals in the game after that, but so some additional minutes here to be added in the second half.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official on the sideline has indicated that there will be a minimum of 1 minute added on time in the first half of the game.
Powell gets the ball across. This could be interesting. Keeper comes for it and makes the stop. Well, that was played in towards Melena Johnson. And she's pretty quick herself, but just couldn't get in on the end of it. It was hit solidly towards the middle. And another instance here where Indy Premier, at the middle, they have given up another.
Leaving the field of play is number 2, Natalia Garcia Safront. And entering the field of play is number 6.
Welcome back to action in the second half of this Jewels of the Caribbean match, as Jamaica start getting going immediately on the break. Jamaica drawing level just before halftime. Stevenson with a great individual effort to score after Brewer had put Indy Premier ahead in the 37 minutes. So 1-1 at halftime, Indy Premier versus Jamaica on the 20s. The winner of this game will go straight to the final. And if there's in the case of a draw, well, both teams will put themselves ahead of the other 2 teams in the competition, TNT on the 20s. And the Wolf United team, they will be hard-pressed to make it into the final. McPherson, who has played in the central defense for this game. Normally she plays in a defensive midfield position for the Jamaicans. Now she has to be called into play here. And that's where her midfielder's skills come into play. She's good on either side of the ball. Raghunandanan. Now out towards the right-hand side. She finds Powell. Raghunandanan goes to ground. And now Indy Premier have a chance to break forward here into attack. Here's Brewer, goal scorer, and that's cleared by Mitchell for Jamaica on the 20s. So it's 1-1, Indy Premier versus Jamaica on the 20s, Jewels of the Caribbean. First match of a doubleheader. Later on, it's the Trinidad and Tobago under 20s. They'll take on the TNT Wolf United team. Well, there was a close call for Indy Premier. Jamaica were not as astute in defense as they have been throughout the game. And that one almost presenting the chance to the visitors. Well, Slade went to ground there. Heavy challenge from the back. Here comes Jamaica with Powell leading the attack. Here's Mitchell. It's a good ball by Mitchell. That was into the pathway of Melina Johnson. And just maybe a foot ahead of her. Conrad coming on in the second half after first half after an injury to defender Cassidy Pettijohn. Manages to keep that in play is Stevenson. And she gets the cross in towards the near post. Well, she was looking for Johnson there, but that one came off the body of the defender. Two similar-looking athletes, Johnson and Stevenson, both tall and very powerful. Good athletes, good runners. And Stevenson's sprinting power was shown in that individual goal that she scored. First time she really cut inside and got past the challenge of three defenders and then buried her right-footed shot off the underside, off the inside of the post. Here's the free kick for Jamaica on the 20s. Spooned out towards the end. Oh, that's in! Cleared off the line. Wow. It didn't look like it was going to be the best of chances. And then it was cleared off the line by the defender. The keeper was beaten. And Jamaica come close to taking a lead. Powell again with the corner. That was dangerous. Those in-swinging corners, always, always deadly. Mitchell picks it up. Powell finds Smith. Smith runs into trouble. One change to mention. What a frenetic start it's been, but it was a frenetic start, and the change that was made for the Indy Premier team. They brought off Natalia Garcia-Sopron, who didn't have a very good first half, and here's another chance for Jamaica, and it's buried. 2-1 Jamaica, and Johnson scores. 51 minutes, and Johnson puts Jamaica ahead. Well, if anything, that goal by Indy Premier has wakened up the sleeping giant. Not that Jamaica were not playing well, but they did brilliantly to score. So Jamaica lead 2-1, and Johnson gets the goal. That's Melina Johnson, number 16. So now it's all for Indy Premier to do here. They had a bit of a half chance. Jamaica had a couple of early sniffs, and then the best chance of all. And didn't Johnson take that well? It was a good ball played in. And the striker did well to get to it and buried it in the net away from the keeper. So they lead by Indy Premier, lasted only 5 minutes. And now, just 6 minutes into the second half, Jamaica are ahead for the first time. So Jamaica on the 20s, 2-1 ahead. Melina Johnson getting her goal in the competition. Put into play in the striker's position and rewarding the coach with their confidence in her to get the goal. A couple of alarming gaps opened up at the end of the first half for the Indy Premier team. And another one opened up there. And this time Jamaica were able to profit from it. Look at the work from Stevenson off the ball to run back and put in the challenge. Phoenix gets this one forward for the Jamaica team. Brewer will chase here again, but she's not going to catch up with that. And it's going to slow up. The two number 5s are battling for it. And Brewer manages to get control. Brewer, the keeper was off the line, and Brewer only realized that after a split second and was about to shoot. Well, a couple of nervous moments at the back here for both teams. Wow, look at the pace of Stevenson here. Just bursting past Lee Gaber. But Premier did well. Indy Premier did well with the recovery run to stop progress. Powell. The two Johnsons, A.V. Johnson playing in the midfield and Melina Johnson playing at centre forward position. Tegan Legaber in goal for the Indy Premier team, beaten twice in this game. Not much she could have done about either. Both were well-placed shots from inside of the box. She put in her best effort, but getting past her. And the Jamaica under-20s, well, the under-17 team is sitting not far away from our commentary position, and the explosion of joy was something to see. Not a person was left sitting on the chairs. They were all up and celebrating and singing. A couple of dance hall moves being put in. I'm not up to date with the latest moves in dancehall, but I think there were a couple that were pulled out of the closet. Van has come a long way with the ball here and gives it away to Mitchell. Now here's Powell. Powell was looking for the run of Mitchell. They were trying to exploit that space left by Van. Raghunandan goes to ground. And the referee is called to play on. Well, both players seem to be tangled up. There was some contact, definitely. And Mann is left limping away from the challenge, trying to run it off now. This is a good little run here from Brown. And Brown forces the corner. Brown is one of the players who's come on in the second half. And almost able to get the cross in, but wins the corner for a team. There's a Jamaica player down. I think that might be Smith. I believe it is Smith. Smith and Ashley both have the same, or rather similar hairstyles. You're watching the action here on SportsStream TT. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This broadcast is brought to you by Blue Waters. Thanks so much for joining us wherever you are, whether you're in Indianapolis or Mobay, or right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Great to have you with us. Corner about to be taken by the Indy Premier team. They would love to get the equalizer now. That will certainly set up a very interesting finish. In towards Lee Gaber, and the header is wide. Looks like it came off the head of Corey Brown at the end. But Lee Gaber had gotten up very high for that over her head. And then as it was dropping, Brown unable to react quick enough to get that one into the back of the net. Testing moment again here for the Jamaica defense. Neither defense has looked rock solid, to be honest. Jamaica's defense has been rebuilt with Cox McPherson in the center of defense. Usually plays center of midfield, as I mentioned. Both have offered up chances. Attempted play by Mitchell. Mitchell again. Johnson. Here's Ashley looking for Smith. Stevenson coming to meet her and gets the return pass. But that'll be picked up by Powell here. Here's Johnson. Turns away nicely from trouble. Well, I think she was expecting Raghunandanan to be running down the line, but Raghunandanan was retreating into the midfield to collect the pass. We've just seen one run from Raghunandanan down the right. She's now back out on the wings. That's where she plays. She puts on her explosive speed. And she also uses it to good effect to close down defenders, which she's done here. Shepherd had to track back, and it's given away to Raghunandanan. Shepherd slides in, just able to get the ball as Raghunandanan was about to shoot. On the other side of the field, out of your picture at the moment, the Trinidad and Tobago under-20 team have made their appearance, and they are warming up on the grassy area on the far side of the field. Cox McPherson at the back of the defense. Raghunandanan, that's Kaliand. Watch the spin. Anybody who's played a little cricket knows once you see the ball hit that way, it's going to spin back. Like a Nikita Miller off break. Stevenson and Mitchell. There's Raghunandanan on the left foot. A disappointing shot from her. That's a play that she has refined over the years. Cutting in onto that left foot. She'd be disappointed in that effort. I think there will be some attention to a couple of players here from the Indy Premier team. Two of them have gone down. Several of these Jamaica players are in fact in part of the US collegiate system, and some of the semi-pro Caribbean teams. Indy Premier is a specialized elite academy, so it's a bit of a battle between the professional or semi-professional outfit and a developmental team. So far, Indy Premier have acquitted themselves well, but Jamaica will always be favorites to win this one, and they are in fact leading 2-1. 51 minutes. That was when the goal by Johnson went in, but don't rule Indy out yet. Two players not on the same wavelength. Corey Brown was in the middle of the park, and that pass was aimed out towards the left side. Johnson. McPherson, and there is Ashley out to Smith. Slow and methodical here from the Jamaicans at the start. Powell. McPherson still very much in control of proceedings, just from a different position here. She really does spray those passes around. Real heartbeat of the team when she's playing in midfield, and now a little bit further downfield, but still able to get those passes, different range of passes from her. And was played ahead of Johnson from the left wing. The Raghunandanan sisters here putting in the tackle, and that was the older of the two. This one's played forward, a chance here for Jamaica. Into the pathway of Stevenson. Well, she attempted to control it with the outside of the right foot. It was coming across her. Unfortunately, just slid off the foot and was taken up by the keeper. Not a good chance. They're attacking that region just between Vance and Lee Gaber on the right-hand side of the Indy Premier defense. Vance heading that one away. We'll find, well, at least she was attempting to find Brewer. Lee Gaber has had a lot of work to do trying to keep Stevenson on the check, but she's going wider and wider. And once that happens, then they're getting the opportunity to play number 12 Johnson in. Correction, number 16 Johnson. And she took her chance very well. Two players coming off. Mitchell and the goal scorer Johnson have come off. Let's see who's coming in their place. Well, Michaela Johnson has gone off, and she has been replaced by the number 9, Tiny Seaton. Those of you who watched the tournament last year would remember Tiny Seaton. She scored the winning goal for Jamaica last year when they beat Trinidad and Tobago 2-1. Raghunandanan trying the extravagant turn. Doesn't come off for her. Shepherd stays calm and gets it away. That's Powell trying to tread the needle, looking for Seaton. But Seaton unable to get in on the end of it. And the other player who has come on, in addition to Seaton, Cassandra Smith is also on. And Cassandra Smith is the other player on, number 19. She has come on for Mitchell, Ciara Mitchell, who played very well in the midfield. And Smith has gone into the midfield role, so it's a like for like, no real change in the structure here for Jamaica. Almost broke free for Jamaica on the left-hand side. Smith was interested in that. She may still get there. Here's Smith. Here's Stevenson. Gets the pass to Seaton and looking for the return ball. But it's a foul this time. And Seaton, the goal scorer, goes to ground. I think the referee is going to have a word with Van and has given her the yellow card. So Brooklyn Van goes into the notebook. She gets the yellow card for the challenge on the diminutive Seaton. And that has given Jamaica a very good opportunity here from a dangerous position. And it's going to be the central defender today to take it for Jamaica. That is Jalea Cox-McPherson. She's there with it. And Smith is also, well, she's now stepped away, Smith. She was looking interested in taking the free kick. And here's the free kick. It's McPherson. Is she going to chip it across or go to goal? Straight into the wall. Second shot is over bar. 2 bites of the cherry there for McPherson, but unable to put that away. She's had some experience playing for Jamaica at the senior level. Played at the Attobolden Stadium in October for the senior team in the 5-1 rout of the Trinidad and Tobago team. The Reggae Girls defeating the Women's Soca Warriors that day. Quite a few of the TNT under-20 players had an opportunity to play in that game. And Coach Briggs for TNT involved with the under-20 team. McPherson. Raghunandanan finding the sisters. Drifted in field to get possession. Powell. Back to Raghunandanan. He turns nicely onto that left foot. And here she finds Raghunandanan towards the far post. Chested down by Stevenson, but only as far as the defender who gets it clear. Now there's a player who may have gotten a facial injury here. Is that Lee Gaber? It looks like Lee Gaber. Physio is on very quickly, and Lee Gaber took something to the lower part of the face. She's right now clutching her face, and she has been asked to leave the field. And I can only imagine that is because the facial injury will require a plaster or so. Once there is any form of bleeding, players are asked to leave the field to get the treatment, and once the bleeding has stopped, then they can come back on. So Indy Premier temporarily down to 10 players. Lee Gaber has been an essential part of this team in keeping Stevenson from running riot down the left-hand side for Jamaica. That's the best way to put it, because she is a figure that can introduce anarchy into your defensive plans. There she is again, looking for another bit of play. There's anarchy just laced into the DNA of her boots. This time the attack comes to nothing. Lee Gaber is still off, and She's holding the top of her head, actually. The two medical staff have now gone across to help the physio in dealing with Lee Gaber. Yes, I think it definitely is. There is some blood. So they might do a concussion check. And that might be taking place at this time. Once there's any sort of a head injury, they will ask a couple of questions. What stadium are you at? What's the score? What team are you playing for? Which team are you playing against? What's your name? And believe me, I've spoken to players who have had concussions, and all of those questions are very difficult to answer if you have a concussion. And I think they've taken the right decision here. Lee Gaber is off, and on in the place now is number 13, Kendallin McDowell. So Lee Gaber is not going to continue. That's the second Indy Premier player to be injured and taken off today. Earlier we saw Cassidy Petterjohn get what looked like an ankle injury, and she was withdrawn within minutes. Now the Indy Premier team have not come down with two full teams and substitutes. They're actually interchanging players from the under-17s and the under-20s. Several of the young under-20 players have played for the under-17s, and the under-17s, of course, automatically will qualify for under-20 team. Raghunandanan will chase this one down after her sister attempted to blaze down the right-hand side. Here's Ashley Smith offering for the left-hand side. A lot of emphasis on the wing play for Jamaica. Smith tried for the diagonal ball, looking for Seaton. Van, who is just behind Seaton, is not the tallest of players, but she's almost head and shoulders above Seaton. Seaton's very quick, maybe slight in build, but she's very quick and has good control. A different sort of striker. Definitely not the lumbering frontman you'd have seen in the 80s. And the TNT under-20 team out to train, and also coming out now, the TNT Wolf United team. They're out to do some training. So both of the teams involved in the second match are out there right now. We're almost about the halfway mark of the second half. Jamaica leading by 2-1. Johnson's goal in the 51st minute haven't given them the lead. Fan just knocks that out of play. Small number of supporters coming in. It's just $30 really for tickets for the game, so it's not a huge amount. You and someone else can come and have a look at the matches. Hazel Crawford Stadium is 25,000 plus, but certainly we're not even close to that. Numbers in the hundreds here. And Jamaica have a lot of supporters. A lot of the Jamaicans who live here in Trinidad and Tobago have come across to watch the game. There's even a guy who looks a little bit like Junior Gong Mali here. Yeah, it's not him though. It's not the same length of hair, no. It's Raghunandanan trying to get past the defender and manages to regain possession. Raghunandanan with the attempted cross just ahead of the forward. Stevenson had come in, and the keeper did well to collect that one. So 2-1 Jamaica lead. And this is about the time that the coaches will try to stress to their players it's all about game management. Keep possession. But if there's an opportunity that opens up for your team, take it and kill off the game. We are in the 30th minute of the second half. 15 minutes and change to go here. Can Indy Premier find a way back in this game? A win for Jamaica will put them in the finals. Indy Premier will have to win on the final day to get through if the score stays as it is. Skips over the head of Brewer. Powell turns nicely with it. Some really good players here for this Jamaica team. And it hasn't quite been as fluent as it was in the last game. Stronger quality opposition against them this time. But also with McPherson dropping back into defense, she and Powell had formed a really good partnership in the middle. McPherson, solid, steady, good passer, different range of passes. McPherson, a little bit more flair, able to take on players in the middle of the park. Played down looking for Brewer again. Brewer out on the right-hand side. Her work hasn't been confined to the width of the penalty box. She will go out on the wings to try to find space. Yeah. About what? You mean information about the other team? I didn't get that. Free kick here for Indy Premier. And they sense that this is the opportunity they would have wanted to get, where they can get perhaps the equalizer here. And they've committed 5 or 6 players for this one. Hit towards goal, and it's in! Stunning equalizer for Indy Premier. That was hit brilliantly, shaping up as though she was just going to cross it. And that's gone into the top corner. What an equalizer here for Indy Premier. That was hit from 25 yards or so, and it is the captain who scored. Conrad puts Indy Premier level.
Ladies and gentlemen, who scored for Indy Premier who scored Indy 20 is Conrad.
So they were perhaps hoping, we thought that if there was anything, it might have been a cross for a header. But Conrad fooled everyone. That was a spanking shot from fully about 30 yards. And that was hit from the right side of the penalty box. Jamaica trying to get back in front, and that was good work by Raghunandan, and straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. Conrad was listed as captain before the game, but she was withdrawn with an illness earlier. She's come back in with the substitute for Pettijohn. And Phoenix has knocked that one forward, finding Conrad. So Jamaica will have to do it again here. They were down after 37 minutes, and they responded with goals in the 42nd from Stevenson and 51st from Melina Johnson. But now Conrad has equalized in the most spectacular fashion. 2 really good goals in this game. Stevenson's go-ahead goal, and now Conrad's equalizer. 2 of the best in the competition, just far ahead, too far ahead of Seaton. Yeah, they have withdrawn Johnson, who was more of a power forward, very good, very speedy, and able to bully defenders. Seaton is not that kind of forward, but she might find a bit more joy just dropping off the defenders, almost like a false 9. But in competition with the likes of Vance and company in there for Indy Premier, I don't think she's going to find a huge amount of joy. Right now she's standing in between Clark and the other central defender for Indy Premier, Van. Seaton comes off the defender, pulls the defender with her. Oh, looking for Stevenson. That's the play that they're looking to exploit with Seaton there. Just coming off the defender and playing those nice little 1-2s. Didn't quite work for them, but that's what they're looking at, Jamaica. Another change here, and it's going to be Camille Clark who's going to come off. And Camille Clark is going to be withdrawn, and she'll be replaced by number 17, Zoe Montgomery. Zoe Montgomery scored her first goal of the competition yesterday. That was in their win. Yeah, Montgomery plays for the under-17 team, so she's it's about 15 or 16 years old. A skillful attacker, very quick, very direct. Great runner, wonderful athlete. She has a deceptive bit of speed. That's knocked forward. And that was by Brown. She was hoping to find Brewer, but that was too far ahead of Brewer, and Phoenix was there to clean it up. And what's Montgomery going to give here? Montgomery hits with, she can hit with either foot. She's out on the left-hand side, so she will have to form a partnership with the other substitute, Corey Brown, who's out there. See what they can do. Montgomery gets past one defender. Slides it down towards Brewer. Brewer's gotten past the defender, but can't keep it in. And very unselfish player, Montgomery. She makes the passes, she can create goals, she can score goals. She had the unfortunate statistic in the first game of scoring 3 goals in the first half. All 3 were offside. I had jokingly mentioned on commentary that the cure for bad luck locally is what we call a bush bath here. I'm not sure if they tried it. You know, Mr. Ramirez, the head coach of the Indy Premier team, knows what a bush bath is, but I don't think that was employed. Whatever it was, Montgomery did in fact get a goal yesterday. Here's Montgomery, 2-on-1. She gets it in, looking for Conrad there. It's too far ahead of her. But good work by Ashley, who has taken a knock here. And Ashley is down on the far side of the field. Very much the prep side for the Indy Premier team. They're under 20s. A lot of these girls will be going to colleges. And that's a really good finishing academy for young girls with potential. They come in, they're given all the tools, all the skills, and they leave as the finished product for college. And hopefully we'll see a couple of these in college, and then beyond that, who knows, if they develop well, might end up on the U.S. national team. Kenrick Ramirez, the head man at the Indy Premier. Russell G is the assistant coach alongside Audrey Robertson. Had the pleasure of meeting all 3 of them yesterday. They're certainly enjoying their time in Trinidad and Tobago. The 2 goals they've conceded are the first 2 that they have conceded, any of their teams have conceded in the competition. Ashley is okay now to continue. Here she is. Smith on the outside and Raghunandanan on the right-hand side. Here's Seaton trying to put on the jets here to get ahead of the defender. But that was too far ahead of either of them. Easy for the keeper. Well, that's played over for Brewer to run on to. Brewer could get there first. And Raghunandanan comes across and makes the play. Good work by her, spotting the danger. Ashley wouldn't have gotten there. Brewer had a better chance, but Raghunandanan saves the day. Stevenson now, can she get a run in? No, that's given away. And Brewer has some space here. Stevenson behind her, she hasn't seen her yet. Now she has. Here's the run, can they get the cross in? Towards Raghunandanan, and it's swept away by the defender, Ashley. Indy Premier might be a little bit disappointed not to get more out of that chance. That was a very good opportunity for them. With 4 minutes to go, a draw would have been on the cards for this game. These are two powerful sides. And there's another injury here. It looks like Ashley hasn't completely shaken off the extent of the injury. She is down again here. Concern for the Jamaica bench. And Leecroft-Letman, correction. And Tamira Ann Williams will have to ponder, is she going to be able to continue or will they have to replace her? So they're getting the information right now. I think Jamaica will make a substitution. And it looks like their number 17, Ariel Lindo is going to come on. Lindo played on the right-hand side the last game, but I think she is going to slip into that left-back position. Well, actually, she's going to centre-back. She's going to replace, and Lindo is going to replace Shania Ashley, who has been withdrawn. And it is Smith who will stay out on the left-hand side. So no change in the shape of the Jamaica back line. And Lindo just slotting into that central defensive role. Besides the captain Cox McPherson. Jamaica, can they snatch a late winner here? Raghunandan and more in a central role now. Brewer has a deceptive turn of pace. And she has used that to good effect in this game. Very easy to misjudge the speed at which she's moving. And she has shown that she does have the measure of these Jamaica defenders. And that comes to Powell. Powell is robbed of it, and then she regains possession. Good work by Powell. Turns away from trouble. Raghunandanan. Oh, lovely roly-poly there. She gets it out towards Stevenson, but Stevenson did not follow through. Well, that's a move that Diego Maradona made his plaything in the 1980s. If you saw the great man from Argentina. Just thought I'd mention, today makes it 3 years that Argentina won the World Cup in the Lusail Stadium. They will be playing Spain in the Intercontinental Cup there in a short while. That's going to be a great game to watch. It should really give a measure of how good Argentina are at this time and if they can, in fact, defend their title. But back here at the Hazley Crawford Stadium, watching Stevenson trying to win it. And Stevenson's shot is wide. Just 30 seconds to go in normal time. The official is now out on the sideline, Anika Harewood. What's she going to signal here? How many minutes will be added? There's been a lot of injuries, and it's been a close game. So there might be more. And as Montgomery is off to the races here, Montgomery has a chance to get the pass off. She does! And Smith unable to convert. That was a wonderful chance there for Brown on the far side. Brown just unable to get past the last defender. A desperate bit of defending, and that has robbed them of the opportunity. That was a wonderful bit of play by Zoe Montgomery. Slid it through, split the defense open, but Brown's first touch was not of the highest quality, and the chance went. Still, the danger is not done. 3 minutes of time added on for stoppages here. And another chance for a free kick, and boy, this is going to be interesting. It is from a very similar position that Conrad scored. It's almost the identical spot that she scored from, and guess who is standing behind it again? It's Conrad. I don't think anybody could have taken the ball off her after scoring. Now, can she reproduce the magic here with this free kick? This will certainly be the game winner if she does. Nervous moments here for the Jamaica under-20 team, the Reggae Girls. They have 4 players in the wall. I don't think Conrad is going to pass this one. She is going to aim at goal here at the much shorter Phoenix. Here's Conrad with the free kick. Now that's too high. Not the same sort of venom with the previous shot. And is that the last chance of the game? Minute and a half to go here. Nobody wants to be the person to make that mistake, to give away the points. This is going to put this group into a very interesting position if it stays at 1-1. Power looking to launch the final attack here, perhaps, for the Jamaica under-20 team. Smith turns away from trouble. Now she gets a chance to prod it forward, looking for Seaton, but Van gets a solid contact in. Slow hand claps go around us here from the Indy Premier team. Conrad has it. Conrad for the long pass, looking for Montgomery, who gets in on the end of it. She has a lot of work to do. The Jamaicans are dropping back in defense behind her. Montgomery with the pass and over the head of Conrad and safely into the arms of Phoenix. Danger averted for the moment. There will be a last chance perhaps here. Just about 20 seconds to go in the 3 minutes. So this could very well be the last play of the game. Well, the referee, as soon as this ball comes on, that might be it here. Which to end what has been a very exciting game. Cecile Hines has the whistle in her hands. Is there a chance, an opportunity for Indy Premier to launch a last attack? There won't be. Final whistle goes. A thrilling encounter ends. 2 special goals to tell you about. Indy Premier have drawn 2-2 with Jamaica on the 20s. Both teams have gone up to 4 points each, but it is the Jamaica on the 20s that keep the lead on goal difference, and their goal difference stays at +6. Indy Premier stays at +2, and that has put the pressure on the Trinidad and Tobago under 20 team. They must beat their counterparts from the Wolf League if they are to make it into the finals.